Hey, I'm so glad to see you today on Daily Hope. We are continuing our study through the Bible, one book of the Bible at a time. We just finished the book of Acts, and that leads to the book of Romans. Now, if you could only pick one book of the Bible to really summarize salvation in this era, after Jesus died on the cross and rose from the grave, what must we believe? What does it look like? How does it all fit together? Well, the book of Romans is a leading candidate for really understanding the basic beliefs of Christianity. It's 16 chapters long. It is definitely a key book of the Bible. And so I want to take a few days to really walk through it properly. Now, we'll start with this question. How well do you know the gospel, or the good news of salvation? Those are the same thing. The gospel means the good news of salvation through Jesus. How well do you know it? If a friend of yours asked you, what must I believe to be saved? What would you say? We're going to help you in the next few days have a really confident grasp straight from the Word of God here from the book of Romans. Now, this was written to Christians in the city of Rome. It was written by Paul the Apostle, who we met in the book of Acts. This was written around 57 AD, so probably about 25 years or so after Jesus rose from the dead. And Paul's writing to Christians he hasn't yet met, and he really gives a thesis. Well, it's the best one thesis of here's the Messiah and the gospel and how it all fits together in a way that non-Jewish and Jewish people can both understand. So here's a good summary verse, Romans 1, verse 16. Paul says, I am not ashamed of the gospel, or the good news about Christ. Why? Because it is the power of God at work, saving everyone who believes. Or as old translations say, I am not ashamed of the gospel. It is the power of God unto salvation for everyone who believes. First, to Jewish people who believe, because most of the disciples were Jewish, and then to Gentiles as it has spread. Verse 17, this good news tells us how God makes us right in His sight. This is accomplished from start to finish by faith. We're saved by grace through faith. As the scriptures say, it is through faith that a righteous person has life. Now, little Christian history here. If you're familiar with the Catholic Church, which carried the Christian scriptures for a long time, but got corrupted over time, became about money and power, and got so bad that people were paying indulgences where they could pay money to have their sins forgiven, which is not only unbiblical, but downright evil. And there was a time called the Protestant Reformation, where some Bible scholars like Zwingli and Tyndale and Luther and others read the Bible for themselves and said, whoa, the church has gotten off track. We need to reform the church. Well, that passage we just read, that we're saved by grace through faith, not by works, that was the key difference, because at that time, the Catholic Church had become all about works rather than faith in the work of Christ on the cross. It's a key distinction to make sure that you know that you're believing in your salvation depending on the work of Jesus, not on your own work. And tomorrow, I'll start you through some verses in Romans that you can know for sure how to share the gospel or the good news with your friends and loved ones. I'll see you then.